Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the top 10 prospects in the 2025 draft, according to me. I've done a lot of my homework on these draft eligible prospects, and yeah, I mean, there's just some really good talent here in this draft. I know that this draft is being lauded as maybe a draft that isn't as strong as other years. And while I think that may be true when you get past maybe the first half of the first round, I think the prospects at the top of this draft are some elite talent to be had, and the teams that end up with the top picks in this year's draft, I think will be very, very happy and may be set up for many years to come. Yeah, so I want to take a look at this because, today being the day where we find out what happens in the lottery, the draft lottery, and I'm going to be making a video soon on my first mock draft on where once we find out the results of what happens in the lottery and where teams will for sure be picking, then I'll take a look at where I think, once we know where they'll be picking, I think we'll have a much better idea, and I'll have a much better idea where I think which prospects the teams will want to pursue and try and grab. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. I want to start with number one. So in my opinion, the best prospect in this year's draft, I do believe it's Michael Misa. Michael Misa, I think, is the top not only prospect in this draft, but the top center. He's listed as a center and a left wing. I think he can play both. He's 6'1", 184 pounds. He's got an elite shot. He's a very tactical playmaker, incredible vision, and hockey IQ. He's also really good defensively. You kind of have everything in Michael Misa. He's kind of he's got it all. He's great at skating. He's great speed. I tried to find at least one knock for each of these prospects because no prospect is a finished product by any means. So for me, I'd say the biggest knock is that the level of competition maybe hasn't been the toughest he could have faced. Being in the OHL, I think that being in college, being part of a college team may have faced you would have gone up against some tougher prospects. But still, I don't think you really can take too much away from Michael Misa. And whoever ends up with him, I'm praying it's my Chicago Blackhawks. Whoever ends up with Michael Misa is going to be a very happy team. Next up, this seems to be the consensus number one, but for me, he's number two, Matthew Schaefer. Matthew Schaefer at 6'2", 183 pounds. He's a left shot defenseman. He's incredible. We could see him being the next Rasmus Dahlin. He is very insane offensively. He's not bad on defense. He's very solid on defense. So it's not like you're getting someone who's just a run and gun Evan Boucharding out there. His skating is very high end. What I think steps off of a page and leaps off of a page and kind of makes people really take a look at him is his decision making. It's almost like a veteran out there. He really makes some quality decisions, and he processes the game at such a high speed. So yeah, incredible offense, very solid defense. The only knock on him is his injuries. He's missed a lot of time due to injuries. So if he were to have been in those games, if he were to have played the whole season, would he have still been first? The consensus seems to be that yes, and he definitely is the odds-on favorite right now to go first. I think a lot of teams would prefer him over Misa, but for me, he's the number two prospect. Moving on to number three, we have James Hagens. So James Hagens, he was originally the consensus number one pick at the beginning of the season, but has kind of dropped. And I think it's a little unfair how much he's dropped. I've seen him as low as like 6th or 7th for according to some analysts. I definitely don't agree with that after watching him and looking his profile and looking at everything what makes him such a good prospect. I love his game. I think he's the third best. I think he's pretty easily the third best prospect in this draft. He's 5'11", and I think that may be what's hurting him in his stock right now, just because he's not 6 foot at least. But yeah, so James Higgins, 177 pounds too, so it's not like he's the most muscular guy out there, the most stocky. But he's pretty much to me he's a pure center. I know some people might think he might move to the wing because of his size, but 5'11", it's not like he's short out there. So I love his hockey IQ. I think it's elite. His vision's off the charts. Great puck handling. He could stick handle in a phone booth. He creates offense on the rush and in the zone. He's just a fantastic playmaker, according to me. I'd say that the biggest knock against James Higgins is I know a lot of people point the smaller, him being on the smaller side, but for me, it's probably the lack of a steeper development curve. If we think about, as you're a prospect and you keep trying to go up a curve, and once you get drafted, you're supposed to be almost like at the top of that curve, and I feel like it's not that big of a steep of a rise for him, but that's totally fine. I think that just some prospects mature at different rates. It'll obviously hurt. It might hurt his where he gets drafted. He might not. He might drop a little bit, which is crazy to me. I think he's just a fantastic prospect, but it is sometimes how NHL GMs think and think that if it's not this crazy steep development curve, that maybe he's not worth the high pick. But yeah, whoever gets James Higgins, he is gonna be a future #1 center in my opinion. Moving on to number 4, Porter Martone. Porter Martone is he's being compared all season to the next Kachuk-like player. He's 6'3", 208 pounds, right winger. He is like a wrecking ball out there. He's a quality playmaker, and he combines vision and his scoring skill set kind of seamlessly with his physicality. He's not always physical, but he definitely has that tool, in his tool set more than all the rest of these top prospects. So if you're a team that's looking for someone with that kind of tool set, Porter Martone's your guy. He's gonna be someone who makes you hurt while also scoring on you. So it's fantastic qualities to have. I think his biggest knock, his biggest deficiency is his skating. His skating, I would, after watching it, I'd say it's average at best. And I know that there's some teams like the Blackhawks who really value the skating and speed. And so I bet that there's some GMs who will probably have him much lower on their ranking lists because of that. But we've seen before that some, like Matthew Tkachuk, if we're going to compare him, Matthew Tkachuk is not the best skater, but he's one of the best players in the NHL, right? So it's not always equivalent to NHL success, and also there are some really great coaches in the league who can help, develop a player's skating. But yeah, that's Porter Martone at number 4. So at number 5, I have Victor Ecklund. He's at 5'11", 161 pounds. So he's not the biggest guy. He's a right wing. But what I love about Victor Ecklund is that he is just so toolsy. He's so dynamic. Even though he's on the smaller side, he's got a fantastic release. It's real quick. He's a great passer. He makes really strong and above all accurate passes. He's a superb skater, so he's almost like the opposite of Porter Martone, and he's a much better skater. But he's not like it's not like he's using his body a ton. He's got a ton of speed, real fast, and he's great at when he's in the tight areas. He's able to find his way out of them and work his way through them. But yeah, he's on the smaller side, so that's probably his biggest knock. He definitely needs to put on some pounds. But I'd also say just something I've noticed is that I don't think he has as high of an upside as maybe the other prospects and some of the prospects to come in this list as well. I think his upside is just a little a lower. So, but I think his floor is very high. Moving on to number 6, we have Caleb Desnoyers. So Desnoyers has really climbed this list for me. Before, at the beginning of this season, I made like a little quick list, and I had him in like kind of the 10 to 12 range, but he's 6th here for me. He's really climbed, and he could definitely be a sneaky pick. He could go as I could see as high as 3rd in this year's draft. He's at 6 foot 1 inches, 178 pounds. To me, he's a pure center. He's got incredible hockey IQ. He sees the game so well. He's very responsible defensively, so he's a two-way center. He plays a physical game, and it's pretty consistent. And he's just an unbelievable playmaker. He sets up plays like it's nothing, and so he's just I could see him like if you had to think of a comparable, maybe like a Nico Hischier, which who doesn't want a Nico Hischier on their team? So he has the makings of a future a 1C. So that's some high. I definitely have some high praise for Caleb. I'd say the biggest knock is that he's not the fastest. There's not a lot of speed to his game, but again, not everyone needs speed. He's a solid skater. So as long as he's continues his other tools and make sure those are all, he doesn't fall off a cliff there. There's so much to like about Caleb Desnoyers. Moving on to number 7, someone who honestly probably shouldn't even be this low. This is just kind of maybe testament to how much I like the top prospects here in this top 10 here. But it's Anton Fondell. So it's 6 foot 1, 191 pounds. He can play center. He can play wing. He, at the beginning of the year, I was quite low on him because of how much time he had missed. And I'd say it's probably maybe his biggest knock is that he's injury prone. It looks like a little bit. But he there's so much to like about him. When he's not injured, he is whew. If we were to take that out of his profile and he was not injured a lot, I'd say maybe he's on the level of like James Higgins. I think he is incredible. He's got super soft hands. His deking ability is really something to watch. He's very physical. He's got a fantastic shot. Very powerful, very accurate. And this may be his best asset is he's got a very translatable game. I think that his game can be very translatable to the NHL. So he might go quite high because NHL GMs love that. Moving on to number 8, we have Jackson Smith. Jackson Smith is a left shot defenseman. He's 6 foot 3 inches, 193 pounds. He's a big guy. He's very physical. Can play tons of minutes. He's got elite skating. He's very fast, and he has solid defense. Jackson Smith is like your prototypical defenseman that every GM wants. Every team wants someone like Jackson Smith. His offense needs work, and he can be prone to the occasional bad turnover. But Jackson Smith, if you're looking for a left shot defenseman who can, he's a minute muncher, and is not afraid to use his physicality, yeah, he might be your guy. Moving on to the last two prospects for my top 10. Number 9, someone who I was so high on, and I still am high on, probably more than most, but he's just missed so much time to injury. It's Roger McQueen. At 6 foot 5 inches, 195 pounds. He's a center. You can't teach size. 6 foot 5 is unbelievable, and he's so big. He's got a long reach due to his size. But it's not just that's not the end to his game. He's got great shooting. His puck handling, I think, is top tier. But yeah, so the biggest knock is he's the most unknown prospect. His ceiling could be like superstar, but his floor is considerably lower than a lot of these other prospects. So definitely a lot of risk with Roger McQueen. But if you're a GM who's willing to take that risk, he might be your guy. But yeah, moving on to our number 10 prospect, the last prospect on this list, I have Radim Murtka, another huge guy, 6 foot 6 inches, 207 pounds. He's a right shot defenseman. Right shot defensemen are a little bit more valuable, as we know, than left shot defensemen. Um, they're just a little bit more rare. But his offense, compared to Jackson Smith, is really good. His offense is high octane. He's great at scoring, great at playmaking. He's good at defending the rush, so it's not like he's some slouch defensively. And again, you can't teach size. That's what I love. It's like kind of like the what GMs like to say, right? Is that you can't teach size. Well, he's got it, and you don't teach to him. I'd say there's some knocks to him for sure. It's why I have him lower than all these guys, but he makes the top 10 for a reason. But some of the knocks to him, he doesn't have the best handling I've seen, and there are some skating concerns, especially with acceleration. But if he gains some strength, I think he could be even more of an impressive prospect. But yeah, that's my top 10. I'm really looking forward to watching this draft lottery and seeing what happens. And I'll be sure to come out with my mock draft as soon as it does. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.